Spoiler alert. After a mission that put Lieutenant Sylvia Tilly's life in danger to reach a pre-warp culture, Captain Michael Burnham and the crew are one step closer to the Progenitors technology by the end of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 6, Whistlespeak, directed by Chris Byrne and written by Kenneth and Brandon Schultz, is a more conventional Star Trek adventure after last week's major disclosures about the Mirror Universe, Moll, and the Breen Imperium. Burnham and Tilly embark on the journey of the Mother Compeer in search of the next clue on the planet Halem'no. In an effort to appease the gods of Halem'no and bring back the rain, this religious journey takes the shape of a race. Tilly's life is in danger as a result of this religious journey, and Burnham must decide whether to defy Star Trek's Prime Directive in order to save her friend. Meanwhile, on the USS Discovery, Dr. Hugh Culber is getting closer to accepting his spiritual awakening thanks to some sage advice from Cleveland Booker. Meanwhile, Ensign Adira Tal, Blu del Barrio, is finding it difficult to adjust to her new position as science officer on the bridge.
Why would they speak in whistles? They don't always.
Welcome to Movie Spy. To save Tilly, Captain Burnham disobeyed the Prime Directive. Without Burnham, the Halem'nites and Tilly would have perished. Burnham and Tilly joined the trip in the hopes of entering the High Summit, a weather tower dressed as a mountain, where they thought the next clue to the Progenitors' riches might be buried. But as soon as they were inside the tower, they discovered that there was nowhere to go. The towers were created by denobulan scientist Hideroshi Creel with the intention of shielding the Halem'nites from the harsh dust storms that frequently occur in their world. When Tilly and the young novice Rava got stuck in the vacuum chamber, they would have suffocated to death if they weren't saved. Because the walls of the weather tower were composed of tritanium, Discovery was unable to get a transporter lock and beam Tilly and Rava out. For this reason, Burnham had to make the tough choice to defy the Prime Directive and beam into the weather tower's control room in order to tell Ovaz the truth. Burnham had every right to defy the Prime Directive in light of the dire need for repairs to the decaying denobulan weather towers. Burnham's intervention prevented the Halem'nites from going extinct and ensured that Tilly and Rava didn't perish needlessly. Even though Burnham is clearly violating the Prime Directive, he takes great care to preserve Ovaz's beliefs, assuring him, "Nothing we have shown you means gods don't exist." In fact, Burnham's search for life itself is evidence in the Star Trek universe of a higher force. Burnham, Tilly, and Commander Raynor all bemoan the unavoidable consequences, but it appears that Dr. Kovich would overlook this violation of the Prime Directive in favor of Discovery's Red Directive objective. Establishing Star Trek Starfleet Academy is Tilly's away mission. New pupils at Starfleet Academy are not succeeding. Whistlespeak, the 6th episode of Season 5 of Star Trek Discovery, seems to build up Star Trek Starfleet Academy by providing additional details regarding Tilly's difficulties communicating with her students. While talking about her new employment with Burnham, Tilly discloses that one of her pupils wants to leave the academy in order to work as a cargo freighter. Tilly observes that the young woman eager to show herself to her gods and the Starfleet Academy cadet eager to reach the stars sooner rather than later are comparable when they meet Rava. The immediate chemistry between Tilly and Rava serves as a pleasant reminder of why Tilly is a fantastic match for Starfleet Academy. The intense responsibility that comes with educating new Starfleet officers is demonstrated by Tilly's compassion for Rava and her visceral sorrow upon realizing that she had signed her own death warrant. Tilly confides in Michael that she believes Starfleet Academy is failing its students because it may be emphasizing theory over application. When Tilly returns to Starfleet Academy, her contacts with personalities like Rava and her last mission aboard the USS Discovery may aid in her efforts to reform the organization. The interpretation of denobulan's ancestors' clue. We need to be so careful. In Mirrors, the 5th episode of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Burnham and Book deduce that every hint leading to the Progenitors' treasure included a valuable lesson. For instance, the purpose of the clue buried on Trill, deep within an Itronach nest, was to determine Book and Burnham's attitudes toward life, forms other than their own. Similar to all the earlier clues, the one left by denobulan scientist Creel also has a message, which Burnham and Tilly debate after they get it from the 5th weather tower that is dormant. The lesson turned out to be the cultural effects of the technology the denobulans had installed on Halem'no. It was unimaginable to the denobulans that the Halem'nites would start offering themselves as sacrifices when the towers started to collapse. It serves as a warning to Burnham and Tilly to exercise extreme caution when utilizing the technology that the Progenitors eventually discover. The fifth and last scientist, Marina Direx, left behind a Betazoid text hint that may be found in the fifth weather tower. Dr. Culber's experience on Trill. He had a thrilling, spiritual revelation that he is now reconciling with. One of the most intriguing plots in Star Trek Discovery Season 5 has been Drive Culber's spiritual enlightenment, which questions the show's position on religion. Hugh's conversations with a hologram of his abuela, Maria Del Mar, a spiritual woman who brought him up to be a man of science, highlight the conflict between Culber's spirituality and Star Trek's rationalism. But after devoting the entire episode to the search for a scientific explanation, Culber comes to the realization that none exists, and instead, his mind is expanded to encompass new ideas and a realm beyond himself. Book replies that it sounds kind of wonderful when Dr. Culber talks to him about his new awakening at the end of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 6. Book tells Culber not to worry too much about the fact that Hugh's spouse, Commander Paul Stamets, isn't fully grasping his new outlook. The book shares an insight into human relationships and the fixation with sharing a personal passion with a partner, which helps Hugh come to terms with Culber's circumstances as a Queegian. Will Season 5 of Star Trek Discovery will Book and Michael reconcile? One answer at a time. Document. In exchange, Dr. Culber approaches Book at the conclusion of Star Trek Discovery Season 4 to encourage him to talk about his breakup with Michael. Throughout Season 5 of Discovery, it has been evident that Book and Burnham are still in love, even though they haven't acted on it. In Face the Strange, she time travels to a previous stage of their relationship, giving Michael a reminder of how happy they were together. Their connection in Mirrors was reminiscent of that of Moll and Lack, and it was evident that Burnham and Book were still a formidable combination. At the conclusion of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 6, Book is questioned by Dr. Culber regarding Burnham, peering below Booker's facade. When asked if he believed he could rekindle his relationship with Michael, Book only answered, "One question at a time, Doc," demonstrating that matters of the heart may be far more intricate than the hunt for the Progenitors' gold. Since Book is still keen to win Moll over following the events of Mirrors, his sister would still pose a significant obstacle to Burnham and Booker's love reunion in Discovery Season 5. Discovery is deviating to address Moll and Lack only now did the USS Lockerer locate Moll and Lack. When Whistlespeak, Season 5, Episode 6 of Star Trek Discovery premieres, Dr. Kovich gives Burnham the order to put Moll and Lack out of his mind and concentrate on the next clue. By the end of the show, the USS Lockerer has located Moll and Lack, and Federation headquarters notifies the USS Discovery of this information. Given Kovich's urging that Burnham abandon her pursuit of Moll and Lack in favor of her Red Directive mission, this seems suspect. It is unclear if the USS Discovery is going to fall victim to a ruse or is making yet another valiant effort to win Moll and Lack over. The reference to pre-March runes, Tony Napo, Breen blood bounty on Moll and Lack can be found in the title of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 7, Eriga. As a result, it's possible that the interpretation of the Betazoid clue will be neglected in the upcoming episode while Burnham and the team deal with the consequences of a Breen blood bounty. As Star Trek Discovery Season 5 progresses, there has never been a worse moment for the Discovery team to confront the Breen. They are so close to winning the Progenitors' riches.